The wealthy live by quiet money habits. They rarely speak them aloud. They shape decades unnoticed. Most people chase the loud parts of money. The flashy purchase. The wealthy do something quieter instead. They think about money differently from most. Slower, steadier, stranger than it looks. The gap is not luck. It is a temperament built one small choice at a time. Once you see it, you notice it. By the end, you will understand the calm mindset behind real wealth. Not tricks, just quiet thought. Imagine someone reading news that panics everyone. Their pulse stays even. They keep doing what they were doing. That stillness is not coldness. It comes from a longer timeline. Decisions were made before the headline arrived. Most people feel money in 30 days. The wealthy feel it across 30 years. That shift changes everything. A short timeline makes every dip feel like disaster. A longer timeline makes the same dip feel like weather. Here's what most people get backwards. They believe the wealthy take huge risks. The opposite is true. The wealthy take small, repeated, boring actions. Drama is rare. Consistency is constant. That is the secret. Picture a quiet morning with one tiny money decision, not a marathon, just a calm check before the day. That ritual compounds across thousands of mornings. Repetition outperforms intensity. Loud effort burns out. Quiet effort accumulates. Most people fix finances in dramatic bursts. A weekend of budgeting, a month of restriction, then drift returns. The wealthy rarely operate that way. They prefer small adjustments they can sustain. Sustainable beats spectacular over time. Another quiet habit is how they speak about money, or rather, how rarely. They treat it as private. They do not announce purchases. They do not perform success. The less they advertise, the more they keep. Most people use money to be seen. The wealthy use money to be free. Two different temperaments entirely. When money is for being seen, dollars buy signals. When money is for freedom, dollars buy time. Picture someone driving a modest car for 15 years. Just a calm choice repeated thousands of mornings. That choice is not deprivation. It is a temperament that does not need the car to say anything. Most people underestimate the wealth built from things not bought. Every unbought thing is quietly working in the background. The wealthy are not allergic to spending. They simply ask a longer question. Will this still matter in years? If the answer is no, urgency quietly disappears. The impulse passes. The money stays. A different internal filter activates. Another quiet habit is how they treat boring money tasks. They show up on time. They handle paperwork calmly. Most people avoid the boring parts and chase the exciting ones. The wealthy reverse it. They protect boring religiously. Because the boring parts are where compounding lives. The exciting parts are where the leaks happen. Inversion changes everything. There is a quiet dignity in showing up for unsexy money work. The wealthy seem to enjoy that dignity privately. They balance the small things on time. They check the dull statements without drama. The mundane becomes a meditation. Pause here for a moment. Think about your relationship with the dull parts of money. Avoid or honor? There is no shame in the answer. Most of us were taught to chase the exciting parts of money. Almost no one was taught to honor the boring ones, yet the boring ones grow real freedom quietly. If something is shifting for you, comment one quiet habit you want to build. Your words may help someone. Now let's go deeper, because surface habits are only half of it. Underneath sits a different way of thinking. The wealthy treat time as their most valuable currency, not money. Time. Money buys back future hours of life. Most people trade hours for dollars and stop. The wealthy trade dollars for hours, then hours for meaning. This is why they resist purchases that create future obligations. Big payments, big upkeep. Each steals tomorrow's freedom slowly. Picture choosing a smaller home that frees 10 years of payments. It looks like restraint outside. Inside, it feels free. Most people optimize for the largest version of every choice. The wealthy often optimize for the lightest version instead. Lighter choices leave room for life to breathe. Heavier choices crowd the calendar with maintenance and worry for decades. Another quiet habit is the long, slow no. They say no often, gently, without explanation. It protects important yesies. Most people say yes to everything and feel scattered. The wealthy say no to most things and feel focused. Attention is a finite resource. A scattered attention scatters money, too. A focused attention concentrates it slowly over years. Think of attention like soil for growth. Plant in every direction and nothing grows deep. Plant in one spot. The wealthy plant in fewer spots. They water the same ground for years. They stay loyal to consistency. Another quiet habit is how they handle money mistakes. They do not catastrophize. They do not perform regret. They adjust. Most people punish themselves after a mistake, then repeat it. The wealthy study the mistake briefly and move forward. Because shame is expensive. Shame freezes future decisions. Calm reflection unlocks them. Temperament shapes the next 10 money choices. Notice this is not about strategy. It is about emotional regulation under pressure. Wealth rewards regulated nervous systems. A panicked mind sells low and buys high. A regulated mind does the opposite, almost without effort or thought. Another quiet habit is the refusal to compare lives. They do not measure against anyone else's highlight reel online. They measure only against their own past selves. That alone changes which decisions feel urgent and which feel optional. Comparison is one of the most expensive emotions alive. It pushes people into purchases that were never truly theirs. The wealthy seem strangely immune to it, not because they are superior, but because they chose their own game. When you know your own game, other scoreboards stop mattering. That clarity is worth more than almost any decision. Another quiet habit is patience with slow growth. They expect things to take longer than feels reasonable. Expectation protects them. Most people quit right before the curve bends upward. The wealthy keep going through flat years they already expected. Imagine planting a tree and checking each week for fruit. You would give up by month 3. Wrong timeline entirely. The wealthy plant and walk away calmly. They water occasionally. They trust the process they cannot see. Another quiet habit is how they protect their energy around money. They limit how much news and noise reaches them. Most people let every headline shake them. The wealthy curate their inputs carefully. Calm information creates calm decisions. You cannot make long-term decisions with a short-term nervous system, so they tend the nervous system first, always. Another quiet habit is generosity that needs no audience. They give privately in ways most people never hear about. Quiet generosity is not only kind, it is psychologically grounding for the giver. It reminds them money is tool. When money becomes identity, every loss feels like death. When money stays a tool, losses feel like weather. Another quiet habit is how they treat their future self. They speak about that future person with care. Most people treat their future self like a stranger, so they hand that stranger all the bills and consequences. The wealthy treat their future self like family. They send forward small gifts of money, freedom, and options. That stranger slowly becomes an ally instead of a victim. The relationship with that future self shapes everything else. Another quiet habit is valuing sleep, rest, and clarity. A rested mind makes calmer choices. A tired mind overspends. Most people try to outwork their bad money habits. The wealthy try to outrest them instead. Recovery matters. Another quiet habit is reading slowly about money over years. Not chasing tips, just letting understanding deepen through study. They are not trying to know everything quickly. They are trying to understand a few things deeply. Depth wins. Another quiet habit is asking better questions instead of seeking answers. What is this really costing me beyond money? Most people ask what something costs in dollars. The wealthy ask what it costs in attention, freedom, and time. Another quiet habit is keeping their circle small and steady. They build long friendships, not large audiences. Trust compounds slowly. People around you shape your spending more than any budget app. The wealthy choose their company with quiet intention. Another quiet habit is staying curious without being restless. They keep learning without chasing every shiny thing. Curiosity grows the inner world. Restlessness drains the outer one. The wealthy quietly know that subtle difference. Another quiet habit is letting boredom exist without filling it. They sit with empty moments instead of spending them. Most spending begins as an attempt to escape boredom. The wealthy notice the urge and let it pass calmly. Another quiet habit is separating wants from identity beneath them. They ask what the want is actually trying to prove. Many purchases are answers to questions we never said aloud. The wealthy learn to hear the question first. Another quiet habit is treating their first big income carefully. They do not let lifestyle expand at the same speed. Most people raise their spending the moment their income rises. The wealthy let the gap between income and lifestyle widen. That widening gap is where future freedom is quietly stored. It is invisible from outside, yet it changes everything. Another quiet habit is being honest about what enough looks like. They define enough before chasing more for years. Without a clear picture of enough, more becomes endless. The wealthy draw the line early and respect it later. Now consider how to start building this temperament yourself. You do not need wealth to begin. You need one shift. Pick one quiet habit from what we have explored together. Just one. The one that made something inside go still. Maybe it is the longer timeline. Maybe it is the unbought thing. Maybe it is the calm after a mistake. Practice it for 90 days without telling anyone. Quiet practice builds quiet strength. Announced practice often dies in applause. You will notice your relationship with money begin to soften. Decisions feel less urgent. Headlines feel less personal. Things settle. That settling is the temperament forming inside you slowly. It is not dramatic. It is not Instagrammable. It is durable. Remember that no one is born with this temperament. The wealthy you admire built it slowly through unadvertised mistakes. Temperament is not inherited. It is rehearsed daily. Every calm choice today rehearses your calmer future self into being. There will be days when the old panic returns suddenly. That is normal. The work is choosing the longer view. Over years, those small returns to calm add up. They become your default. People notice your steady presence. You will not have a dramatic answer when asked. You will have a quiet one. You stopped reacting to waves. That is the temperament behind lasting wealth. Not genius, not luck, not secret information, just a quieter relationship with money. The world will keep offering loud shortcuts and urgent promises. You can let most of them pass without a response. Each calm pass is a small victory. Each unbought urgency is freedom you have quietly bought back from the noise. This is how a temperament actually forms, not through one big moment, through thousands of small, almost invisible refusals. If anything landed, take a breath before scrolling away. Insight without stillness rarely turns into lasting change. Leave a comment sharing one quiet habit you plan to practice. Reading what others write may shift something. If this way of thinking feels different from what you usually hear, subscribe and ring the bell. We move slowly here on purpose. Calm money thinking deserves a calm channel. Thank you for staying. The loud world will keep selling urgency. You now know a quieter way to relate to money. Wealth, in the end, is not a number. It is a temperament that finally stops chasing. May your money thinking grow quieter from here. The habits stay quiet. The results rarely do.